I've interviewed over 300 career coaches for my How to Get a Job podcast, and over 80% of those career coaches are no longer coaching. Their business failed. Not because they weren't talented, not because they didn't have decades of experience, and not because they weren't getting client results. It's because they couldn't generate consistent income and convert strangers into clients. They end up burning out and going back to corporate America. Most coaches that do not succeed and get to the point where they're making 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $80,000 a month is because they fall under one of two traps. Trap number one is what I call the referral ceiling. You have this false sense of security that because you've built this large professional network from your 10, 20, 30, 40 years of corporate experience, that you're going to have enough people that are going to want to buy your services. And there's two big blind spots that I want to point out here. Number one, you can't scale what you can't control. And number two, you can't be a prophet in your own city. Which means that all those professionals that you would mentor and you would see at conferences that maybe they reported to you or you helped that worked in your organization that used to get free advice from you are not going to be used to or want to pay you a high ticket $5,000 to get some of the similar advice that they were getting for free because they took it for granted. And that's challenging because you might get one or two clients for referrals, but it becomes heavily unpredictable and is not going to be enough for you to build a sustainable business. If you can't find a way to convert strangers into clients, you get stuck in the referral ceiling for years to come. And trap number two, what I call the commodity trap, is actually the number one mistake that I see career coaches or aspiring career coaches make. And that is that they don't have a strong enough offer. And they're selling their services as career coaches like resume writer, interviewer prep, or even trading time for money, which just puts them as a commodity. Now, it is very difficult for you to charge $200, $300 an hour for interview services, or people are not willing to pay $5,000 for a resume alone. And when you are having a broad niche, charging commodity services and not selling a good transformation or a full transformation, then you fall in the trap of people not wanting to pay high ticket for your services. And you're just one of 150,000 career coaches on LinkedIn, then most of them can't make a living on. And to make matters worse, most coaches that fail fall under both of those traps. In one side, they're relying heavily on referrals, which we have the referral ceiling. But then when they are selling it, they're positioning themselves as a commodity, which means they're only able to charge a couple of $100s for their services, which means they're not able to even get close to replacing what they make or made in corporate, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy in a doom cycle that leads to one place: you back in corporate. And look, I say this to you from a place of love, not because I want to go and twist the knife and make this hurt, but more than anything, because I've been in your shoes. I've been this close to being one of those coaches that had to go back to corporate. I wish I could tell you that I left my corporate job and everything was amazing and I built a $100,000 plus a month coaching business. No, that was not the case. For the first 3 years, I fell for those traps. I was a generalist. I literally thought that I can go back and sell to my network and no one bought. And I was selling my services for less than $500 for the full transformation. I was a commodity. I was nothing special. And if it wasn't until I built systems and processes that everything started working. But I learned the hard way. And before any type of success happened, I first had to go through 6 months of savings. I sold my 401k. I went into $20,000 in credit card debt, all before making it work. And if it wasn't because my wife had a good job and because my wife had patience with me and I was young and I didn't have a family or kids, I would have easily taken a corporate job a lot earlier before making this work. Now, I say all this to say because you don't have to do what I did. I'm not wanting you or expecting you to go through your life savings, your 401k or credit card debt to make this work. I'm telling you already the pattern recognition that I had to learn the hard way, that if you have the right systems in place, you can avoid all this pain. Because here's the thing, every single mistake that I made has allowed me to get one more piece of the system, which is what we build here at Up. So you might be asking, how do you go from where you are today, that pain, that uncertainty, relying on referrals, to running your business on systems and having a predictable process to generate clients that will give you more peace of mind. And that is what I want to introduce you today. It is our Career Coaches Accelerator, which is going to take you through the 4 phases in systematic ways for you to build this business correctly. So number 1, it's all about creating the right offer. You see, most coaches make the mistake of not taking the time to do this. This would be the equivalent of you working with a job seeker and saying, hey, let's not have a clarity call. Let's not have a target list of companies. Let's not customize a resume, but instead let's apply for every single job, regardless of the industry, the pay, or the location. It would be silly for you to give that advice. Yet we skip that when we're running our business. So we want to create a very magnetic offer that is niched down to a particular ICP and sell a great transformation. That would be step number 1. Step number 2 is all about the positioning yourself on LinkedIn as the authority. And why LinkedIn? Because you want to fish where the fish are. And it's where we can use your 10, 20, 30 years of corporate experience to your advantage. I don't need you to be creating dancing videos on TikTok or Instagram. We'll focus on LinkedIn. We will position you as the expert that you are and help you get in front of the right people. Number 3 becomes now creating a predictable lead generation flow that allows you to get over 100 leads per month. This is where we're going to be able to have real conversations with your ideal customer profiles and be able to turn that stranger into a sales call. And step number 4 is turning those leads that you've been having into actually high ticket career coaching clients that pay you anywhere from the low end of $3,000 on the high end of $8,000. And if you can sell a transformation instead of having to nickel and dime $100 client here and there, all you need is a couple of clients a month to be able to replace your corporate income. So how am I so confident that this 4-step process, that the Career Coaches Accelerator will work for you? 1, because I've been there, done that. This same systems is the same systems that my team and I use to generate over 200 leads a week, onboard 10 to 15 clients a week, and generate over $100,000 in career coaching services every single month. This also hasn't just worked for me because I'm an extraordinary entrepreneur. These same systems are responsible for helping over 55 coaches in the last 24 months do over $10,000 months. Now, within that, 4 of those coaches do over $100,000 a month, 16 of those coaches do over $50,000 a month, and the rest do over $10,000 to $20,000 a month. 1 could be luck, 2 is a trend, but when you can have more than 3 people doing this over and over and over, that is a system. That is a process that can be replicated by you. And don't just take my word from it. Here's the proof. And even beyond those screenshots, here's directly from the coach's mouth of their experience of executing the system.
Oh, Lord, where was I before joining you? I had all of the ideas and none of the systems is really what it came down to. Omni helped me get more intentional about what it was that I was doing. Instead of being kind of all over the place, I was really able to see what it was going to look like and see what the steps were going to be for me to get there.
I remember seeing like LinkedIn posts from Danny, like, you could do this yourself and you could do it. Like, yes, you can do it. And you could hire somebody. And I think, people are like, oh yeah, of course you're going to say that. But what you have provided me and the step by step, and you do this before you do this. And there have been times where I'm like, hey, how about that? And you're like, no, we're not doing that just yet. And so you're being very methodical, very logical. I would have been so overwhelmed doing it myself because I don't know what the first step is or the second step, because what you're doing is you're helping me build a foundation, a very logical foundation. And so if I were doing this myself, I'd have a massive amount of doubt. I'd be a lot of trial and error. And so when I think I've read where he's like, it could take you years or you could do it with us in months, I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to be transparent because I understand that my way or the systems way that I'm showing you is not the only way to build a career coaching business. There's actually many different models, and I'm going to talk about the 4 most common ones so that you can decide which one you think is best for you. Model 1 is what I call the hobby coach. And that is the coach that is doing this for free or at a very, very low cost. They're maybe doing the resumes or helping their friends with interview prep. If they are charging at all, they're maybe charging $25, $100, maybe even $300 an hour, but not much at all. And in this scenario, you have two options. Either A, understand that this is what it is. It is a hobby and is not a true business. Or B, you make this into a real alternative and start charging more and start following our systems. Model 2 is what I call the hourly career coach or the marketplace career coach. These are coaches that have great experience and they're trading time for money. They're either working underneath a bigger career coach that has their own business, or they're working on a career coaching marketplace like strawberry.me. This is where the coach all wants to do is coach. They don't want to run the business. They don't want to think about marketing or understanding where the next client is going to be, but understand that this model could be good, but it'd be very difficult for you to make more than $75,000 to $100,000 a year and replace your income. But if you don't want to run the business, hire a team and think about building your brand, this could be a very good alternative for you. But maybe you're doing that right now and are interested in making the leap of building your own business, then keep watching for the next two models. Model number 3 is what I call the lifestyle coaches. These are individuals or professionals that are looking to build more of a lifestyle type of business. They're not looking to build a multi-million-dollar career coaching business. Instead, they have a particular number in mind of what they want to make. They have a particular number of hours of they want to work, and they're more focused about doing career coaching about 20 to 30 hours a week, making maybe $10,000 to $20,000 a month, and focusing on their lifestyle. Maybe they're towards the end of their career and they want to kind of halfway retire. Maybe they just want to be able to have more time to spend with their kids and use their corporate experience and not have to be in corporate and be in the office every day. Regardless on what lifestyle it is, you're primarily building this business because you know you have the experience and you want to build your life around that and be able to monetize that experience. And in model 3, even though you're not aiming for the stars, the reality is if you do not build the systems that are required, you won't be able to actually get to the lifestyle that you want. And it's the systems that will allow you to get there much faster. And model number 4 is what I call the empire career coach. These are the coach that are looking to own the industries. These are the coach that are looking to build multiple 7-figure career coaching business. They're the ones that are looking to scale, hire coaches underneath this, build a very huge brand. And again, this coach can't get there with the right foundation and the right systems in place. Now, whether you are going from a hobby business to an hourly coach or an hourly coach to really committing to either a lifestyle or an empire builder, there's a key underlying thing that they all have in common. If you do not have the right systems in place and doing it in the right sequence, you will be stuck in the referral trap or in the commodity trap. And here's the good news. It doesn't matter what model of coaching you are today, whether you're the hobby coach, the hourly coach, the lifestyle coach, or the empire coach. The time to start building systems is now. You do not need to have advanced technical skills. You don't need a website. You don't need to have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn or have a dozen testimonials. But here's what you do need. And spoiler alert, odds are you already have it. You must have genuine expertise, 10, 20, 30 years of corporate experience, whether you're a hiring manager, a high individual contributor, a recruiter, an HR. You must understand how the hiring process works because you either had a very successful career yourself or if you helped or mentor dozens, if not hundreds of people to do the same in your corporate life. You must have willingness and want to actually build a genuine business. And it doesn't matter if you are a hobby coach today or an hourly coach. You need to have the desire to build either a lifestyle business or an empire business. And lastly, you must be willing to put in the work. What do I mean by that? You have to be coachable and you have to execute this strategy as we share that. We say this to you because we don't expect you to reinvent the wheel. We know that 80% plus of what we're going to give you is going to work for every coach, but we also know that you're going to tweak it 20% to match your unique value proposition. And don't worry, we will help you with that. But I say this because I want to set it clear. You have to be able to be coachable and execute. If not, this won't work. If you're watching this or listening to this and you're shaking your head like, yes, I can do this. I'm willing to put in the work. I have the corporate experience to back it up. Your coaching ability is there. Now what you're missing is simply the infrastructure, and which is where we come in. The way that I want you to think about this is which coach is going to give you the highest likelihood of success. And this is the same formula that I would be teaching you inside of our program to separate you from other career coaches. And we call this the 80-10-10 rule. Here's the truth. 80% of what I will teach you or what you would teach job seekers is the same for everyone else. It's the commodity. It's the tried and true strategies, business fundamentals of career coaching fundamentals. But the difference actually happens in the last 20%. And that last 20% can be broken down into two parts, 10% niche and 10% personal brand. Let's start with the niche, 10% niche. We only work with career coaches, which means that every business advice that we give you is specifically tailored for career coaches. Now, this isn't coming from theory. This is coming from practice. As someone who's been in the career coaching industry for over 12 years and have worked with over 500 high ticket coaching clients, I know what it's like to be in your shoes because I was there. And so all the advice that my team and I give you and all the success and case studies and best practices that we have from all of our clients and portfolio companies come from the career coaching industry, which means it's way easier for you to apply and plug and play, eliminating a lot of time to value. And lastly is me as an individual. I am on a mission to help 1 million people land their dream job. And the way for me to do that is to help 1,000 coaches help 1,000 job seekers. And that's where I need your help. And I hope that you can see the genuine care for success for my clients and for the job seekers in every single piece of the content that I create. And like I said earlier, don't take my word from it. Just look at my recommendations on LinkedIn or testimonials on our website so you can see real success stories from real career coaches.
For me, like the big thing is like as a career coach, just having somebody who's been through that exact same process. Previously, I'd received coaching from people who, weren't necessarily in the career coaching business and maybe adjacent businesses. And I think just the specialization that you all have has been the big unlock for me.
I know that we've gone through a lot in this short amount of time, but I want us to slow down for a second and even pause and close your eyes if you want to. But I want you to envision if you were to fast forward 3, 6 months, 12 months from now, and you had a business that generated predictable income, that your clients were getting success, that anxiety and that uncertainty of where the next client was coming from was gone. The feeling that you might have to go back to corporate is gone. And you actually wake up enjoying work, enjoying what to do, looking forward to Mondays, opening your laptop on the weekend, not because you have to, but because you want to. Now open up your eyes. Like, does it feel unrealistic? Does it feel too far-fetched? Here's the truth. That reality is not impossible. In fact, it's very, very achievable to do if you're willing to get out of your own way. If you're willing to avoid or stop making the same mistakes and falling under the same trap of the commodity trap or the referral trap and just start implementing proven systems. See, that is the reality for the clients that we work with. The ones that decided to take the next step and bet on themselves and trust on proven systems to generate a predictable outcome. So now it's your turn because you now have a very important decision to make. There's two paths that you can take. Path A, you can take everything you learn about the systems, the processes, the 4 steps, and go execute this yourself. You're smart enough, you have the experience. It's just gonna take you 3 to 4 years to do this, to try and error. That's what took me. It took me even longer, and I wouldn't even willing to say that you're smarter. Or plan B, you don't have 3 to 4 years to figure this out, and you wanna see what it looks like if my team and I help you implement the system so that you could do this in months versus years. And if that's the path, I invite you to the next step. And the next step is not to pay anything to me right now. In fact, put away your credit card because our next step is a very simple conversation with either me and my team where we would do a business audit. We want to understand where you are right now. What are the traps that you are currently in? What are your blind spots? What type of coach you are? And really want to understand what are your goals. Are you trying to build a lifestyle business or an empire business? And if it makes sense for us to work together, we will tell you next steps on the call. So if you're ready to take on the next step, to scale your business and do this in months versus years, there is a form below to schedule your free business audit today. And hey, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I don't take your attention for granted. In fact, if you're still watching this today, it is a sign that you are coachable. It is a sign that you are hungry to take your career coaching business to the next level. And so I'll see you on the business audit.